All right, let's jump right into this explainer. We all know that one person in a meeting or negotiation who literally barely says a single word. And it's incredibly easy to just write them off, right? You assume they're disengaged, or maybe they just can't keep up. But what if we have that completely backwards? Today, we are totally shifting your paradigm on the quote unquote no communication skills type. We're going to pull from behavioral analysis to show you exactly why minimal communication is almost never an accident. Look at this concept. Silence is not absence of communication. I mean, it really hits the nail on the head. When someone is quiet, they aren't simply turning their brain off. Actually, it's the opposite. Their communication is just being filtered through a highly active system of avoidance and emotional risk management. They are actually telling you a whole lot, precisely by choosing not to speak. Section 1. The myth of silence. What we get wrong about quiet people. There is a massive gap in perception taking place in these quiet moments. As observers, we absolutely abhor a vacuum. So what do? We project our own interpretations onto that blank canvas. We misread silence as ignorance, disinterest, or downright incompetence. But for the silent actor, their quietness is a highly active protective strategy. They're managing internal control, and they're limiting their emotional vulnerability. So they aren't checked out at all. They're actively playing defense. Section 2. The psychology of avoidance. The hidden gears of threat avoidance. So let's look at the exact chronological process a person cycles through in literally fractions of a second. Step 1 is internal processing. They hear what you say and process it, just like anyone else. But then comes step 2, threat evaluation. Instead of replying naturally, their brain runs this rapid-fire risk assessment. What happens if I say the wrong thing? Am I going to be judged? And that leads immediately to step 3, which is output suppression. They intentionally clamp down to maintain psychological safety. It's a completely deliberate bottleneck. To understand why that threat evaluation triggers so often, we really have to look at the 3 hidden gears driving their avoidance. First up, social threat sensitivity. That's the deep-seated fear of being judged or saying something incorrect. Second is cognitive load avoidance. Speaking requires a ton of mental effort. By reducing their output, they actively reduce their processing demand. And finally, emotional self-protection. Communication inherently increases vulnerability, while silence reduces exposure risk. Section 3. Tactics of the quiet. Categorizing minimal output behaviors. If you know what to look for, the signs are absolutely everywhere. You'll see response to minimization, like giving super short answers or unusually delayed replies, just to construct the safest possible response. You'll see avoidance signals too, like deflecting from topics or withdrawing the exact second the pressure dials up. And honestly, the most fascinating ones are the passive communication signals. Have you ever noticed someone nodding vigorously, but they won't actually explain why they agree? That passive communication is a highly active defense mechanism. Section 4. Silence in other domains, high-stakes applications. To put this into perspective, this dynamic proves that the concept is universal across pretty much all high-stakes arenas. In the military and intelligence domains, radio silence doesn't mean the army just packed up and went home. It signals a coordinated strategy. In chess, passive play contains heavy strategic intent. In cybersecurity, a silent system user often masks hidden background processes. Even in digital systems, those lurkers, consume massive amounts of data and hold immense influence. The takeaway? A lack of output still contains incredibly powerful intent. Section 5. How to decode silence, mastering the counter strategies. Okay, here is the mental model that changes absolutely everything. It's called the context-dependent expression model. Basically, this states that a person's communication level changes dynamically based on their perceived risk and their specific environment. Understanding this is the ultimate key to not misjudging someone's introversion as a dysfunction. Think about it. If they're quiet with you but totally chatty in a different environment, their silence is just a reaction to the context. It's not a permanent lack of skill. So how do we practically apply this? Well, rule 1, observe their patterns over time, not just in isolated moments of silence. Rule 2, distinguish avoidance from disengagement. Ask yourself, are they ignoring you or are they just carefully protecting themselves? Rule 3, test their communication in low-pressure environments to see if the words start flowing when the threat is removed. And Rule 4, never ever equate quietness with an absence of intent. Interpretation really only fails when you treat an absence of communication as a lack of ability without digging in to uncover the underlying cause.
Now, I need to add a really crucial caveat here because we have to be incredibly careful with this kind of behavioral analysis. There is a vital modern psychology correction we have to make. It is a massive blind spot to assume that all silence automatically equals psychological avoidance or insecurity. Modern psychology clearly shows that reduced communication can stem from personality, cultural differences, or purely intentional strategy. We absolutely must separate ability from choice. Realize that silence doesn't automatically mean incompetence. Sometimes it is purely strategic.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over the next time you encounter a total lack of communication. If silence is a strategy, what is the quietest person in the room really telling you? Are they managing their cognitive load? Are they protecting themselves from a socially threatening environment? Or are they simply observing, just hiding their strategic intent until the absolute perfect moment? The next time you face someone with so-called no communication skills, remember, their silence is a signal, and it's up to you to decode it. Thanks for hanging out and keep looking beneath the surface.